Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the final day of the Internship Training Week, presented to you by Communiqué IIT Kharagpur. My name is Jayashok Patil, and my co-host Yukti Agarwal and I will be hosting today's panel discussion. We are pleased to have all of you here to participate in our panel discussion to gain insights into the product profile. We hope this discussion addresses most of your queries and provides you with all the relevant and essential details on how to build and sustain a product profile.
In today's session, we have with us a highly competent set of panelists from IIT Kharagpur. I'm taking them to you. Mr. Tanish Goyal, who has bagged an internship with Tata AIG. Could you please introduce yourself for our audience, Tanish?
You're not audible clearly. Can you please repeat?
Tanish, could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Okay. So my name is Tanesh Goel, and my third year just got completed here at IIT Kharagpur, and I'm a boarder of Azad Hall of Residence. And originally, I'm from Yamunanagar, Haryana, and I'm interning here at Tata AIG in product management role.
Thank you.
Next, we have Ms. Vijeta Singh, who has bagged an internship at Procter & Gamble. Vijeta, please tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Vijeta. I'm currently a pre-final year student at IIT Kharagpur. My department is Geology and Geophysics, and I'm boarder of Mother Teresa Hall of Residence. I'm based out of Patna, Bihar, and I got, as just Jay told you, I got internship at Procter and Gamble, and my profile is product supply.
So
Thank you.
let us begin.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let us begin with the panel discussion. The question for today is, what is a product profile and why is it essential for companies as well as for consumers? Vijeta, would you like to begin?
Yeah, sure. So, talking about the product role, let's say imagine a company. You have coders, you have data analysts, you have HR, and you have marketing people. What product role lies around is combining all these people. And just a brief thing that all these roles, the HR role, the data role, the coders, they just know how to do it, like how to do coding or how to do marketing strategy and all, right? And but the product people knows it's like why to do and what to do. Okay, so they tells you what to do, which product to build, how to build it, and exactly why to build it, the budgeting around it, and then those guys take it around. The finance people do the budgeting of it. The HR people hire people according to the roles that is required by the product management team, and the coders make app for you. So product management is like entrepreneurship. So basically they combine everything. They know what to do and why to do, and exactly they align things and they distribute things to all the other roles that, yeah, you should be doing this, you should be doing this. So yeah.
Tanish, would you like to add some points?
Yeah, like product manager, what he basically does is like manages the life cycle of a project, like from whether it may start from market exploration to or defining the problem statement to launching and managing the project after it is launched, and basically coordinating and communicating with all the teams associated with that product. So that is what is product role.
So, how does a comprehensive product profile contribute to successful product development and marketing? Vijeta, you would like to address this?
Yeah, sure. So can you repeat your question once?
How does a comprehensive product profile contribute to successful product development and marketing?
Yeah. So as I just told you, key product management people tells you what to do and why to do it. So if you have that clarity, then you can make strategies according to why this product is needed. And then the product management or the product development teams develop the product according to what is necessary for the consumers. So basically, product management people look after the consumer's need and as well as the company's existing ability to fulfill those consumer needs, right? And according to that, the product development teams build the product features and the marketing team decides strategies that is aligning to the goals of the product managers.
Thank you. Tanish, what are your views on this?
I think she covered everything. And the main point is the managers are consumer centric. They know what the consumers want, why they want it, and they make sure those features or those things are available to them.
So, what are the key differences between a product management profile and an FMCG profile?
Yeah, so I would like to take this. So basically, for product management, you decide again the same thing, the strategies behind what the consumer needs. And FMCG, it's exactly the same. You're working as a product managers only, but your problem statement is based on the FMCG sector. It's based on, let's say, for example, as I told Jay before this, the optimization of the cost, the optimization of the processes of the machines. So it basically lies on the production, right? And whatever it involves in the FMCG sector. So the role is same, the jobs are same, but only the difference lies is in product management. You are working according to a company's needs and wants, and in FMCG role, you're working as a product manager to optimize the FMCG sector.
Okay. Tanish, your views?
Um, Nothing on this.
Okay.
A doubt that I had is what exactly does an is an FMCG product? For example, could you give any examples?
Uh,
So like yeah.
Yeah.
like ITC is an
So
FMCG company, HUL is an ITC company, sorry, FMCG company. They don't specialize in one kind of product. They have multiple products. Like they'll make chips, they'll make biscuits, then they'll make uh, any kind of products that are like required daily. So FMCG deals in everything.
yeah, so talking about PNG, it is also an FMCG company, and it has a lot of brand names like the Tide, Whisper, Pampers, and all. So basically, FMCG sector, the as a product manager, you need to work in the production line and optimize that thing, right? So it's actually working towards building a physical product. It might not be an app or something software. You're not just working on some SaaS or something. So it's the physical product you're working on and the optimization of its, let's say, the marketing, the cost, and everything.
Thank you for those pointers. So our next question is, what guiding principles did you employ to determine your career in this field? Tanish, would you like to take this question?
Um, so like I basically always like about reading new stuff, reading about new technologies. Why do the companies do them? Why did the companies make them? And the thinking behind that. And I really like to think about how we can solve any problem or basically like strategic skills like strategic thinking or on the lines of that. So that was my motivation for the profile.
We would like to hear from you as well, Vijeta.
Yeah, sure. So my journey is a bit different. I actually, after cracking J and coming to campus, I started with my entrepreneurship journey during the end of my first year, and the second was in my second year. So through that, I gained a lot of problem solving skills. And since I'm very consumer centric person, even internships before this, I like my managers told me that you have a good customer empathy. So that was actually built because of my entrepreneurship journey during my college life. And yeah, that thing, like why you're building a product, why is it even needed, and how you can bring iteration so that consumer wants it more, right? So these are the things that excites me a lot, and yeah, that was my reason to get into these profile, because again, the product managers are very much consumer centric.
So why did you make a move to switch from an entrepreneurial journey to a, some kind, could I call it restricted, an internship restricted?
Yeah, like it's based out of multiple things. Being a college student, it's not very easy to pursue your entrepreneurship journey because you have a lot of things. The CGPA, the money factors matters a lot because during my second year, I had very limited funds, and I was actually building Funkus, and in that there was money required for inventory again. So again, the seniors and everyone will tell you, you first do a job, earn some money, and then you can get into this profile. But surely, just to take your words, I'll definitely pursue this profile only, the entrepreneurship journey only in in my future life. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. So coming to the next question, can you give us a walkthrough of the overall interview process, like the number of rounds and what was asked in each round? Uh, Vijeta, could you please take this question?
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to be very specific about PNG interview process. And first of all, there were 3 rounds in PNG. First one was the assessment. There you will have general mental ability questions, some maths questions, and psychometry. Psychometry is very important for most of the product roles in the FMCG roles, because those guys check you if you are culture fit for those company or not. Specific to PNG, it is a very culture based company, and like they might not want people with so many PORs and all, but they might focus more on if a person is culture fit to them or not, right? So that was the first round. Second round was obviously the CV shortlisting. So yeah, that's it. And the third round was the interview round. So during my interview, we had 3 rounds that was held in Hyderabad plant only. So yeah, all 3 rounds were HR rounds. They were asking questions. They were grilling me on my CV, and they were grilling me on various situational questions that is actually the situations that arises while working in PNG. So this was my interview process. If you want me to go in details, then I can go in further.
Yeah, sure. Some few details
Yeah.
about the various rounds.
So yeah, definitely. So basically, telling some examples. So some situational questions would be like, you are a new intern in PNG, and there are people who are working for 10, 20 years here, and they are much more knowledgeable than you. And you came here, you have some new project of automation, and you have to, let's say, fire few people because those people are not needed, right? But they'll grill you on the fact ki will you fire or not? Will you fire or not? But specifically to PNG, it's very much rigid about having their old employees sustained in the company. So they don't believe in firing or removing people from their company who have worked so hard for the company. So they might create situations in which you will definitely say ki, yes, they are not required for the company, but you have to be very strategic and say that maybe we can divert those people in some other departments where more manual labor is required, or maybe we can train them on the new technologies that we are launching, right? So these type of culture based questions are very important for FMCG companies. And apart from that, like general, they'll grill you in every minute details of from your CV. Even if you have written like there was a 20% growth in any company because of you, so you have to explain that.
Tanish, could you also share your experiences with us?
Sure. The first round was the first selection criteria was the CV shortlisting one. There was no test or anything. Then there were two interview rounds. So the first round was the CV round. So basically, they asked me about the projects that I have mentioned in my CV, and they asked me how could I relate it with product management. That is very important. Like they might ask you how is it related to product management or how did you manage it. So your PORs play a good role in that. And in the other interview process, it was sort of a case study where they presented me with the problems that the company had faced related to some technology, and I was asked to solve them and basically bring some conclusions to them. And there were no further rounds. There were two.
Thank you for that detailed answer. So now that you've both mentioned CV shortlisting, does the department of a candidate play any role in that, in getting a CV shortlisted?
I don't think so. In Tata AIG, it did not play any role. So like in the CV shortlisting round, all the shortlists from the non-circular departments, and the reason was not specified or any criteria was mentioned. There were only non-circular departments in that, and there were
And,
definitely more dual degree students than BTech students.
and did that happen in your case as well, Vijita?
Yeah, so statistically, my like when I got the news of being selected for Spotlight, so I asked my alums and some of my seniors, so they say PNG don't hire for GG peeps. So statistically, before this, there was no hiring from my department. But yeah, again, bursting the myth, I'm here to it's not like your department matters. It's just your CV and your matlab problem solving attitude. And if you are the culture fit for the company, they'll definitely take you up apart from your department.
And
Uh,
is that the same in the case of dual degree students? Do they is there any bias against or for dual degree
Again,
students?
yeah. So yeah, again, statistically, dual degrees are more than BTechs, obviously. But again, it doesn't matter much if you're very confident about your own skills.
Thank you both for sharing your experience. The next question is, how did you prepare for the rounds? Vijita, would you like to answer this?
Sure. So I'll start round wise. So for the first round, that was assessment. So there was some you'll find some resources on even internet and all for math preparation and some of the psychometry preparations you can do. For PNG specifically, they gave me a, a trial test before the actual test, so you can give that and understand the type of question they might be asking. Also, definitely you can find out some YouTube resources where they have actually shared their own experience about the assessment. They even there are some channels where they have exactly shared the type of questions a particular company ask. So specifically, if you're preparing for any if you're preparing for one company or you get shortlisted in some of the rounds of a company, you should be very specific in your preparation and start preparing according to that company only, instead of just doing random guesstimates or random case study. You should see what this company wants and what this is going to ask you, right? And go and search for that resources. For the second round, it was CV shortlist. I think you guys will cover that CV thing as well. So I'll skip to the third round. Third round was interview. And during my interview, again, I had three rounds in which first of all, they graded me on my CV and regarding my preparation. So I went through every minute details of my CV. I just revived myself. I actually sat with a diary and thought, ki, what I've done since my first year. And let's say if I have a POR or if I had an internship, what exactly I worked on it. So it's very true that in your CV, you write very short things, right? You just have three pointers for one experience, which is obviously not enough. So but you had many more experiences and too much of background behind those let's say the numbers that you have written in your CV, right? So you have to get into minute details of those backgrounds, because if you won't be honest in your CV or If you don't know what you have written in your CV, again, you might come to a point where you have no answers, how you reach to this point or how you reach to these numbers. So that is very important. The second thing that I mentioned before as well, getting into very specific structure of the company. I knew it that PNG was a very culture based company, right? So I prepared myself accordingly. I went through its website, I went through all the YouTubes of PNG, I went through all the previous employees of the PNG, what they had to say about PNG, and obviously our alums. So I took almost 5 mock interviews, three with my friends, and two of them were with alums who got TPO in PNG. So that is very important. Like contacting exactly to those person instead of randomly PNG ka shortlist and you're calling Bain ka person ki how should I prepare for my interview. That should not be the case. That should be the case before you had any shortlist, right? Before you had any shortlist. So before that, even I was preparing the guesstimates, the case studies. I was preparing different case studies with my friends, different projects you can take, right? So these are the interview preparation process that you do before your shortlisting. That is a very generic process. You went through all the resources of mental abilities, you solve them. Also, in some product roles, you require SQL and some data knowledge. So you're going through those data knowledge and brushing it up. So yeah, before the shortlisting, you're getting into like all the things that is required in a product role. After shortlisting, be very specific to the company and prepare accordingly. And never forget to talk to the alums who are working on the company. That is very important.
Thank you for the great insight. Tanish, would you like to present your views?
Um, so we got the CV shortlisting basically the night before the interviews. So in the morning we had the interviews. So when I got the shortlist, I basically contacted the seniors who had like worked as product management interns or worked anywhere related to product management and asked them what their interview was like and what did they ask, what can I expect in my interview. And apart from that, I contacted some of the seniors from Tata AIG to talk about the same. And uh, also, I went through like going through your CV is must. You must know everything that is written on your CV. So I went through my CV, revised my CV, and for so as everyone knows, Tata is a very like valued company in our country and like all over the world. So I made sure that I did mention something related to EAA, which was NSS in my case. So it really helped me in that case.
Thank you. So, are there any frequently asked questions that company asks during their interview rounds?
Tanish,
Hello,
please
am I
take this
audible?
question.
Okay, so as a BTech intern, they don't really expect much from you as a product manager because it's a like after MBA role. So they basically are, I think they basically ask about what is product management and they'll basically CV grill you. So knowing what the field is, knowing what the work is, and knowing your CV is a must.
And Vijeta, any pointers from your side?
Yeah, sure. So, as I have already mentioned you, there were situational questions and questions based on your CV. So, there were two types of questions. To be very specific, some people are doubtful that during a product supply intern, for a product supply intern, they would be asking you supply chain concepts, which is not true at all. So before the interviews, I had many of my peers who were going through all the supply chain concepts and all, which is not at all required because, as Tanik mentioned, that they're not asking you they're not expecting that you would be knowing supply chain concepts and all, especially if your department is not related to that, right? So, apart from that, the CV grill questions again would be based on your pointers that you have written. It could be really minute things from your CV. and it could be your experience out of your campus, right? So for me, they have asked me during your all the experience that I'm going through in your CV, is there any leadership skills that you showed or any moment? Okay, so to be very specific, I'll tell you one of my questions that those guys asked during my interview. So I was doing this Curio Minds during my second year, and the HR asked me, ki, uh, was there any situation when you had difference of opinion between you and your co-founder and how you dealt with it? So this is the type of questions they'll ask you. It might even not be based on your pointers, but situational questions based on your experiences, right? And you have to keep very small things there in mind. So during my interview, they asked me a few questions about my internships in Traya. So I actually at some point of time I refused to tell them because I told ki data privacy for Traya is very important, so I cannot reveal that during my interview. And they were actually very much impressed from this because PNG have this very uh, rich data privacy concept in their company. So it is very important to include all those things. Even if they don't ask you for those qualities, you have to insert those qualities that is required for a company in your answers somewhere or the other. So, like as I told you, you just include all these things. That is, let's say honesty is very important for PNG. So be very specific of what you are telling in each rounds of interview. You cannot say that I made 50,000 sales in one interview and the second round you said ki I made 45,000 or let's say 4,000 sales, right? So you have to be very specific, even if you are exaggerating a bit, which is actually not recommended because that even boil down to a very bad situation. But even if you have decided to exaggerate a bit, be very specific about what you're going to say, and don't just lie and don't just change your words in the other rounds. That is very important.
That provided great insight. Now, taking the next question, how important a role do you think the CGPA of a candidate plays in the selection and shortlisting process? Tanish, could you please take this question?
I don't think so. There were any CGPA rule that the company looked in for, because when I interacted with other interviewees that were there with my room, so we were just having a conversation, and I got to know that there was no such criteria as CGPA, because everyone had different CGPA and very different. So I don't think uh, in my case CGPA did not play a role, but as a word from many people that in basically non-tech roles such as consulting, finance, or product, the CGPA does play a role. So having 8 plus is a safe one, I would say.
And Vijeta, your opinions on this?
Yeah, so I would agree to Tanish that having a CGPA of 8 plus is very important. But some of the companies even don't mention that we have a criteria for 8 plus, but they do have a criteria internally, to be very honest. So try if you have CGPA less than 8, try increasing it to 8 plus, because they have softwares behind their HR team that simply your if even if you have 7.8 or 7.7 CGPA, it gets rejected. So yeah, that is a very harsh reality.
Suppose a candidate has a CGPA less than 8 and there's nothing he could do. But he wants to apply to one of your companies. So is there anything else that he can leverage against that?
So for
Um,
PNG specifically, they have off-campus opportunities apart from Spotlight as well, right? But you have to be extremely good in your explaining your leadership skills and all the things, as I told you, lies according to the PNG qualities that it requires, right? Yeah, so you can definitely apply off campus. So there are many person in my office currently, those who have not gone through official campus placements but have applied off campus in PNG. So they release like hiring portal. I don't know at which month, but you constantly have to be updated about that.
Danish, your thoughts on this, please.
Similar in my case, like as I mentioned, that Tata doesn't really look for CGPA, but like you need to have the values that the company want, like empathy, and you need to be, you know, have a good mind and everything related to that. So that does play a role.
That was very highly perspective. Moving on to the next query. How far do the positions of responsibility on campus help bag a product internship? Vijita, would you like to address this?
Yeah, sure. So definitely, position of responsibilities matters a lot for bagging a internship because it shows your leadership skills and it shows that you have worked towards something in your campus life. Simple. But being very specifically about PORs on campus, it's not exactly what they look for. Matlab, it should not be restricted to PORs in campus. As I mentioned, I had my entrepreneurial experience and my internships and some like case studies and competitions. Um, from my side, I wasn't having much POs on campus, right? So especially till the timing I got the internship. After that, I was involved in my hall and all, but till then, I wasn't involved in many PORs. So specifically, PORs in campus or cell societies and clubs is not maybe not what they're looking for, but your CV should not be like blank. It should include some of the your capabilities and that you have done something, you have worked towards a project, you have made some changes in let's say your campus or through your work in your projects, in your case studies and all. So that is more important, showing your responsibilities and your leadership qualities to some instances and all.
That was a great answer. Tanish, could you also share your experience?
In my case, POs and extracurriculars did play a role because I was able to show off my skills and abilities through them. So any new initiative that I have taken or worked towards or for the people, and the POs and extracurriculars really helped me explain that. Like I had an outcome, sort of an outcome from that. So like they do like display the qualities like leadership and empathy towards people. So in my case, they did play a role.
Uh, so, do you have any experience in on how life in KGP supported you in this role? Uh, Tanish, would you like to take this question?
Definitely, like life in KGP prepares you for every possible thing that may come your way. And like I mentioned, talking about my EA, like NSS, helping people, getting to know different type of people, that was a part of my KGP life, and it really helped me get through the interview.
Vijeta, your views?
Yeah. So, for the entrepreneurial experience that I had a group of peers who were into entrepreneurship, and we used to have meets and discuss about some product and random shits and how we can improve these things. So that actually helped me a lot in building my thought process towards this thing because before J, you are just involved in your PCMB and just solving problems that is just manually. So coming to a real life situation and understanding them and solving those questions, especially with my KGP peers. So we made these things, the problem solving things fun. So it wasn't like, okay, we are doing something really intensive or something really focused. So it was fun. And apart from that, definitely the seniors here and the alums of KGP, they have literally shaped my life, and I had a lot of interactions with KGP alums as well. So they tell you the overall perspective in life and how you can pursue problem solving skills in your overall life and not just for the job. So definitely those skills got inculcated in me through fun, through enjoyment, through talking to more peers, to talking to more seniors and alums. And that really helped me.
So now that we've mentioned extracurriculars, does sports or so-called any experiences in those help you propel your CV or?
Yeah. So, specific to me, I participated a lot in general championship, tech and so-called events. So there were three tech events I participated in, and there were three so-called event I participated in. So that actually shows a diversification in your CV. That is very important. You're not just gaining CGPA and just studying and solving questions, but your profile is diversified and you're working for n number of things and you're excelling in all. So that is definitely very much important to be a part of your life itself, and definitely for to be part of your CV.
Tanish, would you like to weigh in on that?
Yeah, sure. Like for product management roles, they do look for all-rounded CV. Like your CV contains everything. You are not just studying or doing one thing specifically, but you are engaging in multiple of them because that helps you build your mindsets toward like empathy. Like you get to know people, you get to understand them. So yeah.
Thank you for that answer. So while building a product profile, did you also have a plan B in mind? Tanish, would you like to take this?
Yes, I did have because there are not many product management opportunities after just BTech. So you need to have a plan B, and I was like preparing for SDE rules too. Because for product rules, you don't need to do something very rigorously. You can just do like for like in last 1 month, you can go through case studies, go through some blogs, through some video series, and get to know about product management. And a possible past experience does help a lot. So yes, I was preparing for SG rules too, apart from product ones.
And how would you like to weigh in, Vicheta?
Yeah, so same for me. Also had a plan B, and I was actually looking for consulting companies and as well as consulting and product since they are similar. So they had not same but really similar kind of preparations. So apart from that, I was looking for data roles, data analyst role to be very specific because data scientist involved a lot of coding, and I wasn't a very code love person. So yeah, I was preparing for data analyst role as well. So it involves preparing for SQL and basic DBMS and all. That's it, not the coding part of it.
And one question that personally bugs me is how viable is pursuing higher education in the specific case of a product profile?
Yeah, so this is something we haven't even pursued right now. So we can't be very specific to this question. But as far as I've interacted with my seniors and alums, so definitely pursuing an MBA gives you an edge in product roles. It's like if you have to work 2 or 3 years work experience and you have a MBA versus you have MBA from, let's say, top IIMs and all. So definitely both are weights the same. Um, so this is what I've heard again from my seniors, that MBA matters to some extent in the product roles.
And Tanish, your views?
Yeah, they definitely prefer any candidate that has done MBA because, like, in my company too, most of the product managers have an MBA background. So, as I said earlier too, it's a like MBA rule basically.
Yeah, so specific to PhD, they both actually, the MBA people and the IIT people, they both get hired at the same level only because PhD don't do hirings for senior managers, they do hiring for freshers only. So they have this hierarchical system. Yeah, so in PNG, even if you do MBA, you are going to be promoted at the same, you're going to start from the same position.
That was very comprehensive. Thank you. Moving on to the next query. What do you believe are the most essential qualities that a candidate should possess for a product role at any company? Tanish, would you like to begin?
Like as mentioned in so many previous answer, a consumer-centric approach is a must. You must know what a consumer wants, why he wants it, why she wants it, and what all should you put in the product. So having a consumer-centric approach is really necessary. Apart from that, leadership, critical thinking, able to come up with unique solutions, and basically communicating with the team. So these are, according to me, one of the most important rules, qualities required for product roles.
Vijeta, your views?
Yeah, though I think Tanish had covered all. So communication, problem solving ability, and the consumer empathy is very much required for this role.
So, how can these skills be developed? Like any
Uh,
resource or something?
in my case, PORs helped a lot to do that. And you can practice brain teasers, solve case studies. That really helps you build uh, that kind of mindset. And case studies are not only required for product roles, they are required for anything such as consulting or finance. So practicing case studies definitely helps you build those qualities.
Yeah, so solving real life problems and like the case studies, doing internships, because especially for internships, you deal with real life problems that is going on in an company, and you have some time bounded for it as well. So that is very much required to improve your critical thinking and all. So try as many things as you can, explore different profiles, explore different jobs, internships, different companies, talk to peers about the case studies. Having this case sessions with peers is also very important. You can discuss things amongst yourself. That is like very important. You just can't prepare for this role sitting alone at your table and just thinking, "Ki, okay, what should be done, what shouldn't be done." If you talk to more number of people, you'll get more ideas and you'll increase your critical thinking.
Any advice, any special advice for freshmen?
Um as I mentioned, like be thorough with your CV and know what you're doing because if you go to your interview unprepared with your and if you want to basically go for product role, try different things, be involved in everything. And like those who are going for it now, you have 2 to 3 months, 2 months of summer left. So try getting a product management internship uh, or be involved in some extracurriculars that you can mention in your CV.
And Vijeta, your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely try to participate in more number of things like take some product management intern or do some product competitions. Apart from that, a very good opportunity is general championship because I was GSEC tech of my own hall, and I would definitely promote everyone to participate more and more in the all the tech events. It gives you different horizons to like broaden your thoughts, and you get to interact with so many people from your own hall, and like you have captains, you can interact with them, and not just that, you even learn team management skills that is very much important in product management role, because being a product manager, you are going to interact with the marketing team, with the finance team, and you have to listen to everyone and take a decision based on your own intellect, right? So that is very important that you interact with n number of people and take your own decision and dilute everything to one solution. So take more and more participation in general championship, sports, focal, tech. product management interns, not just product management intern. There's a similar profile called founders office. So my Traya intern was founders office only. So you can take the founders office intern as it is very much important to understand the perspectives of the founder. You work very closely to the founder and you understand how they're working and what decisions they are making based on the current market situations and all. So, and again, talk to a number of people, randomly text on LinkedIn to your KGP alums working in different companies and just ask them for maybe a meet of maybe 10 minutes call to understand what is their perspective towards solving problems in their own company. So that is very important.
A pretty thorough answer. So now we come to our final question for the panelists. Could you outline the common mistakes candidates make that should be avoided during the interview process? Vijeta, could you take this question? Oh, okay,
Sure.
Tanish. Anyone?
You can
Okay, so
definitely go.
okay, so some of the common mistakes that people do is, like I mentioned many times earlier, being unprepared with your CV and not thinking before you speak. Because in case studies, they want you to think and take your time to come up with a solution. If you blabber anything, they are just not going to accept it and they are going to question you a lot. So basically, think everything that you are going to speak and then, you know, frame it in good words in a possible solution and then speak.
Yeah, so Tanishka shared like almost all the insights. And adding on to that, one thing I would say is very common is taking stress. So, like, you think that interview is something that will decide your placements and you'll like internships and you'll get a PPO, your life will be sorted, you can enjoy your campus life more. That is not the case. Like, you have problems at every stage of your life. So don't be so demotivated and so much reliable on just one interviews that ye nahi mila to fir kya hoga wala types, right? Because again, those who go for through CDC process, they have to give n number of interviews and they honestly face n minus one rejections, right? So that is very important that you don't take all the interviews very seriously. Go with a free mindset that okay, you're going to have a good experience. So that was my case in when I was going for PNG interviews because my alums told that yeah, PNG don't hire for GG peeps. So I was like, okay, let me just go there and see how PNG works, what is the interview process actually is. That was my first interview experience. So what these HRs are looking for. Yeah. So adding out to onto the second point, what HR is looking for is very important, or whatever your interviewer is looking for is very important. So as Sanish said, just don't blabber anything. Try to read the mind of the person who is in front of you. If you are just bragging about your internship or the projects that you have done and your interviewer is not at all interested in what you are telling, then try to be very specific of what you are telling, right? Don't exaggerate around things, don't blabber around things. Be very specific at the time of interview and ask them if they want more details. Just don't try to give the whole story at once. Ask them if they want more details. And also learn to take pause during interviews. If they ask you a question, say, can I need 3 to 5 seconds or 30 to 40 seconds to sum this up and to structure this up. And then my personal advice would be to carry a notepad and a pen with you. So I was the only person at the time of my interview who was carrying this notepad and pen, and that was very useful because even if when you are structuring things, it might happen that you blank out and you're not able to structure anything in your mind, even if you have taken extra time from the interviewer. So it's better to take a pen and paper, make mind map, make flow charts in the pen and paper. The interview will also be impressed that yeah, you're having a structured thought, you're having a structured problem solving attitude. That is very important. So yeah, this is the common mistake. Try to take pauses between the interview questions and your answer. Don't take stress. This is not going to be your last interview. You never know which interview you're gonna, and try to read the mind of the HR. Don't just blabber around things. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Tanish and Vijeta, for answering all our questions. Now we take up questions from the audience. Please feel to fire your questions away in the chat box.
So I don't think we have any questions from our audience. So as we move to the end of the panel discussion, I would request our panelists to give any fun day to Ajanta that you think we missed during this session. Starting with Tanush, would you give any general fun day to our audience?
I think we covered everything in this great session organized by Communiqué, and nothing as such. And you can contact me anytime for any queries or any doubts. Thank you.
Thank you. Vijeta, anything from your side?
Yeah, so I would say give some time making your CV. Don't just wait for the last moment. Uh, Maybe have your pointers ready even before the start of the internship season. That is very much required because at the end, when the internship season is coming, you should be more focused on case solving and the problem solving, your interns, your experiences, and of course the interview processes. So this one advice I think I just forgot to give, that spend some time uh, in preparing your CV well, try out some online tools and all. And yeah, definitely you guys can always reach out to me for any queries or if you want to know more about the role and all. So all the best, everyone.
Thank you for
All
that.
the best.
Yukti, you're on mute.
A heartfelt thank you to our panelists for their expertise, openness, and the wealth of knowledge they have shared. Each of you has contributed immensely to making this discussion both informative and engaging. I would also like to take a moment to thank our audience. Thank you for being an integral part of today's discussion. And with that, we wrap up the internship training week. We extend a sincere thank you to all the members of the audience for making our event a huge success. We extend our gratitude to all the panelists for endowing with their experiences.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanish. Thank you, Vijeta.
Thank you.
Bye.
It was great speaking with you.